Imagine a bird, a duck, or even a bat accidentally falling into a lake. A few days later, they find its corpse, but not in a normal state. It has turned into a dry, white, and terrifying stone statue. This is not a legend, not a horror movie, nor a science fiction world. It's real. A place called Lake Natron in the heart of Africa, in Tanzania. A place entering might be the last place we ever walk. Lake Natron, which gets its name from a substance called natron, namely sodium carbonate and baking soda, is a salty and alkaline lake located north of the Ngorongoro area in Arusha province, Tanzania, near the border with Kenya. Natron is one of those lakes whose name you may not have heard before, but once you learn about it, its image will never leave your mind. This lake is in Africa's Great Rift Valley, a place where the earth has split open like a huge wound. The water of this lake comes from the Ewaso Anjiro River, also known as the Brown River, and hot springs making it mineral rich. Why is this lake strange and frightening? Because its water is filled with a combination of strong chemicals. These substances make creatures dying here dry out, turning to stone or mummies. If this water gets in your eyes, it can blind you. Wear polyethylene clothing when approaching. One of the strangest facts about this lake is that its water's pH is between 9 and 10.5. That's almost like ammonia, meaning its environment is even more alkaline than many cleaning agents. The water temperature can also reach 60 degrees Celsius or 140 degrees Fahrenheit. These conditions mean most creatures can't survive in this water. However, the lake's surface deceives birds. Let me paint a picture. Imagine a small bird, like a swallow, briefly landing on the water, maybe to drink. But due to the heat and chemicals, it dies very quickly. Afterwards, its body dries out in this alkaline environment and turns into a mummified statue. Imagine we're sitting in a small boat in the middle of a lake with red water, like spilled blood. The strong smell of ammonia and sulfur has made it hard for us to even breathe. All around us are pink birds flamingos that seem to have turned their backs on the rest of nature and become friends only with this lake. Everything looks strangely terrifying and takes your breath away. Lake Natron is anything but ordinary. The lake's water is salty and contains toxic bacteria. This lake clearly marks the boundary between life and death for you. In the waters of this lake, there is a substance called natron, the same compound that the ancient Egyptians used for mummifying the dead. Now imagine this compound is so strong that animals falling in turn to stone in days. That means they're just like statues. If you still have doubts, you should know that famous photographer Nick Brandt published photos of animals left around this lake, dried up and motionless like stone statues. Some birds flew, others just fell. All is still. It's as if time has stopped. Well, it all comes down to the chemical composition of the lake. This thick water is so concentrated that its pH sometimes reaches as high as 12. It's also so hot that it can cause third-degree burns in less than 5 seconds. Now imagine the skin of unsuspecting animals when it comes into contact with this water. How would it react? But that's just the beginning of the story. The bigger danger is the active volcano next to the lake. Right to the south of the lake is where the active Oldonyo Lengai volcano is located, which is also known as the Mountain of God. This mountain erupts a special kind of lava called carbonatite lava, which actually flows faster than any other lava in the world. Now imagine if this volcano suddenly becomes active. Lava that can burn everything in just a few minutes and reach a dense lake, turning this combination into a real hell. But one question that might come up here is why some creatures manage to survive in this place. This is where nature shows us a kind of strange magic. It's true that most animals can't survive in the lake, but a certain few seem to be made for it. For example, the lesser flamingos of East Africa, whose population reaches 2.5 million. The only place they come to lay their eggs every year is this very lake. They feed on a special type of algae called spirulina, which grows in these extremely concentrated conditions. This algae is also what gives their feathers their red and pink color. It's interesting to know that flamingos' tough skin also protects them from getting burned. This means there's a strange life cycle happening right in the middle of a deadly environment. However, there are different theories about this. Some researchers believe that these harsh conditions have allowed flamingos to stay safe from predators in the lake, because no animal dares to go near there. However, a bigger threat to these creatures has always come not from nature, but from humans. Up until just a few years ago, there were plans to build a large factory called soda ash next to this lake. What was its purpose? It was quite clear: extracting sodium carbonate to produce laundry detergent. Imagine a factory, a coal power plant to supply its electricity, and 1,000 workers in that pristine area. What do you think would be left of nature's wild and extraordinary nature? If this had happened, the flamingo's habitat would have been destroyed forever. That's why environmental activists, including BirdLife International and many other organizations, launched a global campaign and stopped the project. As a result, fortunately, in 2008, the Indian company Tata Chemicals, the main investor in the project, announced that it had halted the project. Now, if you ask for my opinion, I have to say that I think Lake Natron is a natural miracle that shows the boundary between life and death within just a few meters. It's a place where creatures like flamingos have learned how to survive in conditions that would kill others. This means that while many of us humans still don't know how to get along with nature, a little pink bird has already figured it out. Now you tell me, I want to ask you a somewhat philosophical question. Tell me, if you were in the flamingos' place, would you rather survive in a hell or die in a paradise? Be sure to share your opinion in the comments. And if you've stayed with me up to this point in the video, leave a red heart so I know. Hope found this story fascinating. But the final word is that Lake Natron is a truly unique and remarkable spot on our planet. A place where science, beauty, death, and life all collide. From bodies that turn into statues to birds that fall in love and build their lives in this hellish place. But we also have such unique lakes right here in Iran, like the Hawzi Sultan Salt Lake in Qom, Mahalu Lake in Fars Province, and Lake Urmia. So next time you look at a beautiful, mesmerizing pink lake, remember that it might not just be a unique view. Maybe, beneath this suspicious, almost eerie silence, death has strangely triumphed over life.